The Harrison family living room was thick with tension as my father threw the transfer documents onto the coffee table. Sign it over to Michael, or you're out. No more trust fund, no more family help. I straightened the simple gray sweater I wore, a custom-made cashmere piece that cost more than Michael's entire wardrobe, and kept my calm. If only they knew that while they were plotting to take my tech startup, I'd already locked its most valuable assets behind an unbreakable patent trust. This company is a dead end, Olivia, my mother chimed in, her voice sweetly laced with fake concern. Your brother understands business, he'll make it profitable. Michael leaned casually against the fireplace, grinning. Don't worry, sis, I'll leave you a junior role, maybe customer service. They had no idea that the so-called struggling startup they were dismissing had developed AI algorithms worth billions. While they saw a failing tech company, I had created groundbreaking patents that the biggest tech companies were quietly trying to license. The company's a mess, my father continued. You're better off handing it over before you run it into the ground. Just then, my phone buzzed, an update from my patent attorney. Final patent registrations confirmed. All core technology securely in your personal trust. You're right, I said calmly, watching their smug expressions shift from demand to victory. I'll sign it over. Finally, my father said, nodding in satisfaction, Michael will make it something great. I picked up the pen, reflecting on the holding company I had set up months ago after catching Michael snooping around my company's finances. Every valuable patent, every crucial piece of technology, was now securely in my hands. $1, I said, signing the transfer document. The company is Michael's for $1. Easiest dollar I've ever made, Michael smirked, already dreaming of how he'd remodel my office. My phone lit up again, another message, this time from my legal team. Google licensing agreement ready for signature, $2 billion upfront payment confirmed. I hope you'll learn something from your brother, my mother said, he knows how to build real value. I thought of the vault in my private office where the true documentation was stored, the proof that I owned every patent, every line of code that made the company valuable. The empty shell they were stealing was worth nothing. I'm sure I will, I replied, gathering my things as Michael eagerly began calling his friends to boast about his latest acquisition. Don't forget the company materials, my father ordered, files, contracts, everything. Of course, I said softly, thinking of the encrypted servers holding the real technology, accessible only through my personal authentication. I'll send everything over tomorrow. As I walked to my car, a modest, but meticulously engineered vehicle, I thought about the meeting scheduled for next week. Tech giants would be bidding for licenses to my patents, while Michael would be left with an office full of furniture and an empty shell. Some lessons about value come at a very expensive price. 1 week after signing over the failing company, I sat in my real office, a sleek penthouse far from the old family building, watching multiple screens as Michael realized exactly what his dollar had bought. Ms. Harrison, my assistant said, poking her head in, your brother has called 17 times in the last hour. Naturally, that morning's tech news was everywhere. Breaking, Google signs $2 billion licensing deal with anonymous AI patent holder. My phone buzzed again, this time, a text from my father. What is going on? The servers are empty. I smiled and opened my laptop. On one screen, the live feed from my old office showed Michael tearing through files, his expression shifting from confused to panicked as he unearthed nothing but company policies and dusty HR manuals. Send the statement to Michael, I told my legal team, he deserves the full picture. Minutes later, I watched as he read it, his face turning crimson. Congratulations on your acquisition of Harrison Tech Solutions corporate entity. All intellectual property, patents, and proprietary technology are registered under the personal ownership of Olivia Harrison, as filed with the U.S. Patent Office prior to transfer. Another call from my father lit up my screen. I let it go to voicemail. Your mother's trying to reach you, my assistant added. She asked for a callback through the old company number. Tell her the patent holder is in meetings with Silicon Valley, I said, just as Microsoft's offer pushed past $3 billion. Then, without warning, the office door flew open. Michael, disheveled, out of breath, furious. You can't do this, he shouted, his designer suit rumpled and eyes wide. Those patents were part of the company. Actually, I said, pressing a button that projected the patents across the wall, they were never part of the company, they were mine from the beginning. His mouth opened, then closed again. That shell you bought for $1, I continued. It came with office furniture and a logo, not much else. But the AI, the systems, are all protected under my personal trust. I finished. Filed months before you even knew they existed. Maybe you should have done better due diligence. Apple's bid popped up on my screen, $4, $1 billion. We'll sue, Michael said, voice cracking. You're welcome to try, I replied coolly, but you might want to review the paperwork first. Everything was airtight. I had to act the moment I saw you snooping through company records. I turned my screen to show him the live bidding feed. While you were bragging about your $1 empire, I said, I was negotiating billion-dollar deals. That office you're redecorating, it's worth less than my inbox. He collapsed into a chair, dazed. How? He whispered. You were losing money. I was investing, I corrected. Every loss funded patent development. You just never saw the value, only the numbers. Some lessons come with a heavy price tag. In the days that followed, headlines erupted across the industry. Tech heiress outsmarts family in $2 billion patent coup. Empty companies sold for $1. Core IP hidden in plain sight. Harrison family drama goes public after failed takeover. And suddenly, my phone lit up with newfound family interest. Dad, we need to talk. As a family. Mom, we just wanted what was best for you, darling. Michael, please, let's fix this. We can work together. But the truth was simple. They didn't want what was best for me. They just wanted what I built. And now, they couldn't touch it. I archived their messages without reading them, focusing instead on the bidding war unfolding before me. By the end of the week, licensing deals had surpassed $10 billion, placing me among the wealthiest tech developers in the country. 1 month later, I sat in my expanded headquarters, now spanning 3 floors of a prime downtown tower, reviewing new licensing offers. Michael's company had already filed for bankruptcy. Turns out, an empty shell without the core technology isn't worth much, even for $1. Your parents are in the lobby, my assistant said, barely hiding her curiosity. Your fathers tried to schedule meetings with every tech firm we work with. I glanced at the security feed. There they stood, my mother clutching her designer bag like a shield, my father stiff in a suit he used to wear with authority. Tell them the patent holder is unavailable, I said, signing another billion-dollar licensing deal. The family dynamic had flipped. Michael sold his luxury condo to cover debts. My parents were the latest topic in their social circle, known not for their wealth, but for pushing away the daughter who quietly built a tech empire. The Wall Street Journal requested an interview. My assistant added, they want to know how you protected your IP while appearing to run a failing company. I thought about the years of family dinners, where my strategies were ridiculed, my losses weaponized, and my brother hailed as the business mind. Schedule it, I said. Time to teach a few lessons about due diligence and intellectual property. 3 months after the $1 sale, a formal invitation arrived, a family meeting in the same living room where they once cornered me. They want to discuss reconciliation, my assistant reported. I looked out across the skyline, where buildings lit by AI systems bore the fingerprints of my algorithms. Tell them I'm busy revolutionizing the industry they thought was worthless. The following week, Michael made one last move, a business proposal for a family partnership. My assistant handed it to me with a raised brow. Your brother thinks you should rebuild, together. Send him $1, I said. According to him, that's the going rate for a tech company. Over the next year, my patents reshaped the industry. The algorithms they dismissed as irrelevant became foundational across sectors, generating billions in recurring revenue. Michael's failed takeover became a case study in business schools, a masterclass in what happens when you undervalue IP and overestimate entitlement. My parents' attempts at reconciliation grew more desperate as their status withered. The daughter they once sidelined had become the only name that mattered. I kept the original transfer document framed in my office, paper proof that they sold me out for a single dollar. Beside it hung the first billion-dollar licensing check. A reminder that real value isn't always loud. It's built quietly, protected fiercely, and revealed only when the time is right. Sometimes, I drive past the old office, watching workers scrape Michael's name off the building. A hollow shell, once paraded as a prize, now stands as a monument to their greed and short-sightedness. They thought they took everything. But all they got was furniture. The real power, the patents, the systems, the future, belonged to the daughter they tried to erase. Because sometimes, the most devastating revenge isn't rage. It's success, so complete, it bankrupts those who underestimated you.